click that screw and then click the pop out chat.
Pop out chat. There you go.
Okay, and now you can put that chat box wherever you want that is convenient for
Okay.
you, and that will be the Twitch chat.
Okay.
And then go ahead and close the stream in the background, because now you can just close that window that has me talking out of it.
Okay, we'll get rid of. So that means I'm. Just a second. Okay, I muted it.
Okay,
Can I still hear you?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
That'll work.
Okay.
Okay, so you have chat and you have the demo board, and I think that's all we need on your end. So now everyone in chat, he has the chat up, so now I can read everything you're saying. So for those of you who were greeting before, go ahead and greet again.
Yeah, send me a greeting so I can see, make sure where things pop up and that we're communicating. Someone say hi to me. I got no takers yet.
Okay, there is a slight lag on.
Okay. I see a show chat, so I'm going to click on that.
Oh.
And there we go with Shinsu, a raiding party of 8.
Okay, so do you see anything before that?
No, although I just clicked it on. Oh, well, there's Darth, how to play, just Sorak. I assume that's the people that, and there's someone just said something. Okay, so it looks like, Clacky, go ahead and actually say something so I know you can hear me specific. There we go. Hello, Shygost. Hi there, Shygost.
There we go. AGA ID, say it one more time. Anything before Shisu is rating, Shy didn't see. Yeah, the 0 and a slash is like a wave.
Right.
All right, and I think we are good to go. So they should be able to see the board. And I think now I'm gonna hand the reins over to you. So for those who don't know, this is Shygost. He is a KGS teacher. He taught me a lot when I was learning many years ago. And yeah, you're a very popular teacher on KGS. I'm sad that we grew out of touch, but recently I saw like a video in my YouTube recommendations, and I was like, oh hey, I haven't talked to Shygost in a while. And I was like, hey, is anyone heard from Shygost? I want to talk to him again, reach out to him, and I thought maybe we could do something like this. And I ended up finding you, and it worked out. So that's great. I'm really happy we were able to do this.
Good. Okay, so we're good here, ready to start. Everyone can see the board. I'm going to put a stone down just to see if it goes on. There it is. So that's like a 2-second lag, so I should be aware of that. Okay, hello everyone. I haven't been involved in KGS for about 7 or 8 years, maybe a little more. And I've been back almost a year and starting to remake friendships and such. I was a very well-known teacher for a number of years, had a lecture series for many years. And you'll find that Colossus's, if I said that right, his teaching style has a lot of similarities to mine. So what I'm going to do to start with is lay out my method of how to think on the Go board. You'll see a lot of similarities, but I'm just going to go through it one step at a time.
So, if I recall correctly, I think one of the methods you're about to show is some of the questions. And didn't you also get some of these methods from, wasn't it Yulin Yang?
I've had many professional teachers, and this is from all of them, the things I've gathered.
So basically how I formed the Colossi approach, we have the Shygost approach now, is what we're about to learn.
Right. I formed this approach approximately 35 years ago. Mm-hmm. And it spread like wildfire. It went down, I'm in middle of California. It went to Southern California and became the DOTs, Defense, Offense, and Territory. Mm-hmm. It went to Northern California with the TTQs, the 3 questions. And then it actually went globally as the list, and it became very well. And now everyone talks about this list, but most everyone's forgotten that it came from me. So here we go with a very basic
Right.
version
And
of the
I
list.
do want to shout out because I'm well known for my Clossy approach. The Clossy approach questions were heavily inspired from my lessons with you, so you
Right,
can kind of be considered the grandfather of the Clossy approach, I think.
right, which is kind of fun. Okay, what we have on the go board is not a goal position, has nothing to do with the goal position. These are the three questions. Question one, and we'll do the simple approach and then delve into what it means. Question one, am I okay? Let's assume the answer is no, I have a weak group. So we're going to be defending the A group. I assume everyone understands where I'm at, so I'm going to keep going forward. Now that we've decided we're defending the A group, we're going back to the top of the list and asking again. So we keep going through the list over and over. So step two, as I'm defending the A group, is there another Black entity that would enjoy my help? As a matter of fact, there is. The B group would really enjoy my help. Great. So I'm going to be defending A and helping B. Back to the top of the list. As I defend A and help B, is there another weak Black group I can help? No. Is there a weak white group I can hurt? Oh, there happens to be. Great. We're up to a three-purpose move. This is getting to be a powerful move. And let's finish this up and say back to the top of the list, as I defend A, help B, and hurt C, is there another Black entity to help? No. Is there another white group to hurt? No. Can I do that? Question three, in a particularly big way. Let's say with no is just one way to do it. Great. Then we have a three-purpose move and we know where to play. Now I'm going to do that again. We look at our board. Is Black okay? Yes. Down to question two, is white okay? No, his A group is weak. Great, back to the top of the list. As I'm attacking the A group, is there a Black group that would enjoy my help? Yeah, there is. My B group doesn't need help, but it sure would enjoy help. Great, I'm up to a two-purpose move. Okay, now I'm gonna stop there because I figure you can all understand this sequence. You go through it, you go through it. Often, it's just one purpose. Two purposes, still common. Three purposes, we can still say that's common. So we should see a lot of three-purpose moves in your game. Four purposes, now we're getting uncommon. Five purpose moves, that's like the ear-reddening move that most of you know about from Shusaku. Many purposes, so the moves get richer and richer. Is this making sense? Give me a little bit of feedback. See if there's any questions. I'm now looking at the typing, which I wasn't before. Someone's talking about Dasan. He was a great member of KGS, and COVID got to him some months back.
Yeah.
Okay. Darth understands. Makes lots of sense. Who's Shygost? I am Shygost. I've been Shygost for 15 years. My license plate says Shygost, so I'm definitely
here. I think this might be while we're waiting on answers. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about where the name Shygost came from, because I don't think I actually know that.
Oh, that's perhaps the least interesting thing about me. When I started online, this is back when online was brand new, I found myself intimidated to be online. It's a scary thing, and these people I don't know. And so I called myself Shy Guy, and that fit perfectly. And then I started playing Go online, and I wanted to change my name, so I switched to Ghost, G-O-S-T, which is a play on the word of go and ghost. But I didn't like it very much. It didn't, I don't know. And then it hit me, Shygost, and it just rolls off the tongue like a perfect name. So I took it, and I've been Shygost ever since. So not an interesting story, but there you go.
It's not any worse than my story.
Okay, now I'm going to talk a little bit more about the list. Let's say we have this game going on, very fancy, couple professionals playing, and we're doing all this stuff. It's like, how can we possibly understand the professional players, for goodness sakes? How are we supposed to know how to play like that? Well, if you're 4Q What moves do you put on the board? You put down 4 cube moves. Duh. Well, don't you wish you could put down 1 Don moves, 3 Don moves? How do you do this? You do this by not using your thinking. You slow down and you use someone else's thinking. That's what the list is. So, a strong player doesn't say, is my group weak? No, that's like when you're walking, you don't say, should I put my left foot down? You simply put it down. So strong players this is how they breathe, is defense, strength, size, and they put them all together. They don't even think about it, they just do it. We can't do that, we're not strong enough. So this process will train your mind into thinking properly so you can find strong moves rather than just your regular 4Q moves, 10Q moves, 1 Don moves. I was playing in a tournament years ago, playing a Korean 4 Don professional. And early in the game, I made a mistake in Joseki. Now I'm, let's say, 2 points down. Well, against a professional, there's no catching up. That's it. I'm now 2 points behind. And if I play perfectly the rest of the game, I'm going to lose by 2 points. The game went on, more and more complex. It got to the point where I was lost. I didn't know where to play. I couldn't even understand the board. It got very complex. And I started to feel, despondent. Lost. Oh, I knew I was no good. But then it hit me. Wait a minute. I'm a Go teacher. I'll just do what I tell my students to do. So I started going through the list. Identify my groups. Are there any weaknesses? Usually when I do that, I only get to step 1 or 2 and then it all makes sense again and I can play my move. But this time I went through the entire list, start to finish. I came up with a move that looks stupid to me. I mean, it's like, to me, stupid move, but it's the best I could come up with. So I played the move and the game went on about almost 200 moves till I finally actually lost the game. After the game, she records her win and comes back and says, do you remember that move you played? And I'm ready for, that was a really stupid move. I go, yeah, I remember it. She says, that move really embarrassed me. I didn't see that move and it got you back to even. And so she gave me a present, a book she had written and signed for me as a present for embarrassing her. And it was a really sweet moment and it really told me, yeah, the list really, you can get great deep stuff from the list. Okay, so we have the questions, we have how to go through them. Let's talk a little bit about weak groups. Let me first, where can I type? I type down here. Okay, trying to type, and it says, got it.
Where are you trying to type?
I want to type in, I'm going to type in something. So, am I okay? Now it's asking me to sign up in order to do that. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do it.
Type in KGS chat, and I'll just copy paste it to Twitch chat for you.
Might be too much trouble, so I'll just say it. Okay. So, the question, am I okay? It's a wonderful question, easy to ask. But you're not allowed to ask it unless you understand the long version of the question, which I will type in, and Sean will copy and paste.
Radnor, you can do what we've posted before. I'm just gonna keep up with what he's posting in real time.
Okay. So we have this longer version. So let's say you ask the question, am I okay? No, I've got a weak group, so I'll defend it. Wait. You have another weak group that's more important and bigger. You should be defending the second one. So we have to ask, how many weak groups do we have? So that's important. How many? Have you typed it? Yes, you have. Next. Sometimes a stone is absolutely unimportant. I mean, talk about unimportant, meaningless, waste, just give it up. Other times a stone is worth 200 points because it's a cutting stone. So we have to ask, do I have any important stones? Not just groups, but stones. So it's how many and groups and important stones. The answer is usually 0 or 1. So it becomes really annoying to ask every time, how many weak groups or important stones do I have? Next move, how many weak groups are important? It's just annoying. Am I okay? Easy question. Okay. Question 2, how many weak groups or important stones does he have? Again, the most common answer, 0 or 1. So we don't have to ask the long question, just is he okay? Question 3, which I'm typing. How many big areas are there? There's always 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 big areas. So we always have to count them and compare them. Now, having gone through this thousands of times with students, hi goddess, I didn't see you come in, so good to see you. Buzzsaw has joined us. As far as I'm concerned, everyone should stand up and applaud when Buzzsaw comes in. She is this wonderful KGS icon who has helped unbelievably amounts of people, shown great character and patience. The first ever woman of AGA, I think. She's been around forever doing wonderful things. So we bow to you, Buzzsaw. And her other account is Goddess, where I'm more used to calling her Goddess because it's better. Goddess. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, areas. Always count the big areas and compare them. And I found that the areas that my students don't mark are usually the big ones. Because people think of, oh, it's so wide. Look at all that space. Yeah, that's big. But if he can do something smaller for free at no cost, that's bigger. Let's see if we can set that up briefly. Let's put Shamari there. Then we're going to put, how do we do this? We want this. So I'll just have you imagine. If black can play a move here for free, then we can see the top being unusually large. Now, in this case, it is wide, but sometimes it's half wide. Not that, it doesn't look that big, but you get it for free. So free moves is really the only way to win Go games, which I'm going to talk about. Let's imagine 2 pros playing, and this won't be a Go position. This will just be a way of marking things. The first best player in the world, the first AlphaGo, plays his move and gets a full 50%, a full value of what he can possibly get with his move. Then White plays. White gets a full value of everything he can get in his move. It's even all the way through. All of a sudden, let's notice that Black plays something a little bit weak, and White says, ooh, I got 1 move for 1 point for free. White's ahead by 1 point. So free points, small free points, is how to win a Go game. That's why we like to have our group strong. And just, not that I want to waste time, but let's just look at this. Let's imagine this.
Oh, you have plenty of time.
In a 9-stone game. I just don't want to bore people is all, but this to me is all important. Okay, let's look at 9 stones. And we kind of want to ask how white's doing here, how black's doing. It's kind of looking like white's doing fine. All black points were taken at the cost of a whole move. So everything's fine. Let's look at a different way. Let's attack white. All of a sudden, we got some corner profit, and it's still our move. Profit for free. We're behind enemy lines, so we get out. Next, we notice he's weak, so we remove either his corner, which he can't get to, or his side, which we'll do. That's some profit on top for free. It's still our move. Why is it our move? Because white wants to defend. White's thin there, so we're behind enemy lines, so we defend right near his weakness. He wants to fix that. Look at all the profit we're getting, and we haven't spent one Gote move yet. And we can keep this up as long as we want. Profit, 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 and it's still our move. So you can see the value of profit in Sente. So that's where it's at. So often you have a big Morio, he comes in, and the Q player just lets him live. Like, what are you doing? Attack him. Get profit for free. Hi, Wayne. Good to see you. Okay, so that's the big areas. That's attacking, getting points for free. That covers a lot of stuff. Any questions before I go on? Because we're about to show some examples from real games.
The only question I have seen was, I don't know if it's relative to what you're talking about, but someone had a question. I have a very hard time telling who is ahead around 15Q, and especially on games where they play for influence. Often I think I got a lot of territory, but cannot gauge the score when they have a big framework. Another question, how do you approach light groups? The one you mean to leave weak, do they count in the questions?
Okay, now those are pretty much all off topic and hard to answer out of context.
Okay. Do you want me to copy these questions and post them on KGS for you?
Not yet. As we look at some example games, then we'll bring up those questions and see if we can apply them in context.
Okay.
One thing I am going to do briefly, which might help somebody. Second line, third line, fourth line. Then we have the white stones here. Everyone's going, what's he doing? What's he doing? Just a second, we'll see. I think everyone knows where I'm playing next. There we go. Okay. In the A area, who's ahead? Duh, white. Easy, white's winning. How about the B area? I think everyone can agree without any hesitation, white's ahead. Okay, let's look on top. The C area, who's winning that? Now I'd like to see a couple responses because someone might not be clear. Do I stream, lecture? I haven't done lectures. I did about 7 years of lectures that were self-sustaining, which was very nice, but that's been over for a while.
So I'm seeing a lot of questions that aren't exactly relative. So maybe I think when you're done lecturing, we'll have a Q&A session. So if everyone can, let's bring all the questions at the Q&A portion of the stream. We'll do that after the lecture part. That way we just stay on topic.
Right. So everyone seems to be agreeing that on top, black's getting more. Okay, good. Next, the D area. Let's get some responses that I can see. This one also, some people might be unclear on.
So I actually don't, I don't know if this is quite relevant to the point that you want to make, but I've actually been trying to figure out what the new AI's AI's opinion on influence, how valuable influence is, because I used to always take your approach that 1 stone of thickness is 2 points, and so that's what I've always valued thickness as. But AI has been coming around saying that thickness in the center is actually very valuable. So I've actually gotten confused on if C is equal or better for black or better for white, depending on the board position in recent years.
So, first thing to realize is God, who is now called AlphaGo, is absolutely amazing in using influence. Humans can't come anywhere near that. So we're going to talk in human talk, not in God talk.
Okay.
In human talk, we're all agreeing that D, it's about even.
Okay.
Now, of course, any of these white walls could be worth 0 or 200 points. It depends on context. So let's get out of context, and just in each case, we're looking locally. Okay. Now, on the left, even, how many points per move is black getting? 2. And it's even, therefore, how shall we count white? 2 points per thickness. That's how we decide, that's how we count out of context. Hopefully someone went, oh, I never thought of it that way.
Even after all these years, I still use this method, by the way.
Uh-huh.
I still count thickness on an empty board by 2 points per thickness, just for my own peace of mind, so I can have some value for it. I still use this method for counting thickness.
Now, white's wall has a cut, and it's cuttable depending on the ladder. It's not a net. It's just the ladder. It's not thick anymore. So I would count this as 6 points maximum. Now I'm going to get rid of the cut. Cut's gone. Now it's a net. Can't be cut. Well, it's thick now, so I'm back to counting 2 points here and 2 points here. So when you have to gauge, well, what's thick? Part of my wall is thick, part of my wall is not thick. And it's intuitive and you have to work with it. So that's something that could be useful. Now, I am going to bring up a game to look at where we see a few examples of this in context. See you all there. Okay. This is going away.
I will actually have to follow you over there.
And I'm bringing up to LGD. Joe and Paul. Should be that one.
All right, and just let me bring that onto the stream.
Completely off topic. I forgot about the lecture today. I was out doing some major monthly shopping at Costco, and I'm doing this, and then I got to go to Safeway, and then I got to unpack everything, and all of a sudden I go, just a minute, it was 10 minutes to 11. I go, oh my God, I forgot. So luckily I made it there. I found it very embarrassing to have forgotten. Okay, this game's going to involve a little bit of a story, and hopefully it won't be too boring to everybody. Black is my first teacher. His Chinese name, as you see there, is Hu Shi, if you see it.
They can only see the Go board.
His English name is Paul Hu, from Taiwan, one of the top players there 50 years ago, before Taiwan had their professional system in place. So he never got his credentials, although once they did get their professional system in place, he went back and played all his professional friends and did just fine. But he didn't go through the training where you get the grit. But he was extremely strong. And he's playing Zhuzhou Jing, professional 9-dan, who is one of my favorite players in the world. And back then, this game's at least 40 years ago. Back then, things were different in the Go world. Back then, the idea of an amateur beating a professional was virtually unheard of. It simply did not happen. Nowadays, happens every day, no problem at all. But back then, unheard of. And professional 1-dans were only professional 1-dan. They weren't 9-dan. There's 1 3/4 stones difference between 1 and 9 dan. Not anymore. The way Go is nowadays, there's such a bottlenose effect that when you become professional, there's a good likelihood you're already 9 dan. So professional 1 dan doesn't mean a lot anymore other than you're a strong professional. So back then, amateurs didn't play professionals even up because the amateur had nothing to lose and the professional had everything to lose. So there's always the question, how shall we play? So these two decided, we'll play at 2 stones. If I win, Paul says, we'll go to even. Jujo says, no problem. Jujo was 100% confident of victory. My friend Paul Hu was 100% confident of victory. Now, Black ends up losing the game, stands up. This was played at the San Francisco Go Club, 50 people watching, all standing around in excitement. He stood up after losing and he says, from the bottom of my heart, I apologize. He went back to Taiwan, never to be seen again. So it was a very meaningful game.
Oh, man.
Okay, here we go. Boom, boom, boom. And Black's style is to just, whatever White wants, take it away. So he takes away the corner. We have a normal Joseki that I won't get too involved in the why of it. And now, the Joseki move is to, let's just put it real simple, to finish up the corner. Now Black's alive, White has to stabilize, we go from there. But Black's thinking, I have a very strong A stone sitting here, which gives my B stone an easy home nearby. My B group is stronger than usual, so I don't need to defend, which I happen to agree with. So Black says, big wall, I'll take that wall away. Okay, onward. This White, actually, this is, I'm going to have to do this from memory because this move is not right.
Uh-oh.
So from memory, White, Black. This Blackstone at D14. At the time, Juju's like, this might not be so good. And my friend Paul's like, oh, no, it's pretty good. Years later, Jujo, professional 9 dan, and his wife, Ru Naiwei, professional 9 dan, the first woman ever to become professional 9 dan, studied this move at length with Gosegin. At the end of the study, they decided, this is a good move, which cracks me up every time I think about it. That's their conclusion. It's a good move. Okay. White, Black. One closer? Yes, one closer. Okay. So in this game, we have a few moves that stand out. Here's one of them. One would think, time to defend the A stone. White says, no. The reason not is because let's check out the B stone. Black can say, I want the left side. And it looks like Sente into White's corner. Black can say, I want the center. And it looks like Sente. Black can say, I want the top. And it's great Aji in order to... Black has great control here. So White says, I'm going to play here, taking away all that Blackstone ability and making the top very thick. On the surface, this White move looks like 1 point in Gote, right? 1 point. He already had the corner. It was his. Black's going to give up that stone. So what's the value? Well, it changes the entire character of this quadrant of the board. Black agrees and removes it. Now White settles. All standard. We won't go into why we'll just all agree that everyone's settled here. White's group is alive. And now we're coming across the second move in the game that stands out to me. White's alive, and yet black gets this in Sente. This black move gives this whole area strength and thickness for free. So white takes the time to play here. How big is that? 2 points? Gaining 2, removing 3 or 4, less than 10 points, but it's reverse Sente and works the whole character of the situation. Also, some of you may know this rule about 3 in a row is not enough. If the liberties are tight and you have 3 stones in a row, all of a sudden nets don't work. It gets messy. So the 3 stones are becoming not dependable, which makes the A stone weaker, which means the B group doesn't have the strength it used to have. So black's going to defend the B group because of that. Hopefully that all makes sense. Black has 2 choices, back to the corner with C, or defend at D, which grows a large area on the bottom, which was his choice. Now, the cut at A is becoming an issue. White's entire B group is becoming an issue. It can't move to the left very well anymore. White's defense. I've been studying this move for 40 years. This move blows my mind. First, there's a ko. If white wins the ko, there's no cut. So it helps the cut. White is now alive. That's helpful. White gets the corner points. Black doesn't get the corner points. That's big. And finally, the entirety of the A group, it does have a knight's move there, and they've lost their base, and later that becomes an issue. Hopefully everyone's with me. Black continues. And now there's 2 big moves left on the board. 2 big opening moves. A side move on the right and a side move on top. And that would end the opening. White takes one, black takes the other, supposedly. But white took one, black didn't take the other. This was black's first mistake. He plays here. Fixes a cut. Not urgent at this point. There's been no change there. Grows his area well. True, but that's middle game. So white gets both. And the last, oh, sorry. There's my memory. This one, I hate when that happens. This one is here, and then black's move is, oh, this goes here. Then black's move is here. There we go. White comes in. We have this situation, and we're coming up on the last move in this game that shows these characteristics. White's alive in the corner. White can do anything he wants. But this creates thickness in Sente for free. So white plays here, removing that free stuff. So these characteristics we're looking at, these few moves, are all about the value of free moves. And white is playing at 2 stones. White's playing a virtually professional player, playing these little tiny 1-point moves, 2-point moves. In Gote, Now, we do notice that, just for instance, we can see the right side growing, so there's potential here, and that's great. But it's pretty interesting. So that's as far as we want to go in this game, and hopefully I'll mark the moves here. 1, 2, 3, 4. These 4 moves in particular, to me, have stood out in my mind for 40 years and have meaning to me. Any particular questions about this as I'm about to leave it?
To clarify, would you say that the 4 moves aren't just preventing free value for the opponent, but also setting up value for the future as well? So they're not just one purpose?
Yeah, which is almost always the case. Yeah. When you take it away from him, it usually gives you something.
Yeah. The thinking about it was like, because I'm always comparing to like how I would apply it as well. I would be worried about playing these types of moves and my opponent getting a lot of big moves, which sometimes,
right.
if you just get single purpose moves, the big moves will overshadow you, even though you were preventing free value.
Right.
However, I'm watching these and I'm noticing each one also threatens other stuff. So it's not just preventing free value, it's also
right.
preventing it in a way that can potentially give you value in the future, which reviewing pro games recently, I've noticed there's a lot of things that just leave Aji or set Aji for the future as well.
Right. Right. Okay, good. So now we're going to look at another game that shows, instead of 4 examples, it shows many, many examples. I think it's a wonderful example. So we're going to look it up. Out of this one, and up comes Go stuff. There it is. And we're in. Colossus is here.
Okay. I think
give everyone a second. Okay. So we're mostly going to be looking at the black stones here. These are KGS 7 Dons. There are some professional players that play at 7 Don on KGS. So 7 Don's not a slouch on KGS. That's pretty darn strong. Okay, here we go. All standard, all regular. Black decides to go for the wall. Okay. First thing you notice, black's building a big area on top. Next, white already knows from this black wall, he's thinking, I can live in here, but it's going to be so difficult and it's going to cost me so much. No way I want to live in there. Therefore, I can do a kick real quick, a little bit of profit, a little bit of life, and then go on my business. The A group can live, but very small in Gote, so he's going to continue to get out.
No, I don't see an A letter.
The A group, thank you. If A pushes at B, he's pushing from behind. We don't really like that. If we jump out to C, it leaves cuts, which just work, so we can't do that. So he jumps out ahead to the second line. A lot of people are pretty cautious about playing on the second line. Like, that's so slow. I don't want to play on the second line. Yeah, well, you're getting ahead, saving your cuts. So I think that's pretty cool. Keep going. White's alive. Black cannot kill white. But if white does nothing, you gotta call this Sente. We can't allow this for black. Black's getting this for free? That's too much. So white comes out. His group's alive, but not what you call healthy. And black can get Sente against him. Free stuff. So white removes it. White's very alive, but if he does nothing, that's Sente. Look at the bottom right becoming big and the wall's getting bigger. So white stops it. Black wants to know about these weaknesses of white, so he probes just to see what white's going to do. White plays on the strong side, killing the stone. It's not necessary. There's other ways of dealing with it. Let's look at that. Black can back off this way. White can back off, but it's getting really thin and awkward. It works, but so just fix strong. Now, with this invisible stone, that's what James Kerwin calls them, as invisible stones, professional Wundong. Black feels he can play this in Sente. A little sidestep from the principle here. There's a couple of Ataris here that white could take. And the question arises, should white take either? And if so, which one? And the answer is, we never do this one because black's thick to the right, black's thick to the left. This white stone's never going to do anything. So we never Atari this way. This Atari is good. Clearly, right now, that's a benefit. Sometimes you don't know which one, so you don't do either. But in this case, he does the obvious one. This comes up all the time in games. White responds, taking away the Sente. We'll just look at something real quick. If he were to Atari and fix, let's take off 07. Do you really want to play 07 next? Maybe just P7 and not 07. And that's how it went in the game. Just here. No reason to Atari at all. And for black, no reason to Atari. The Ataris, Atari. He doesn't want to give that to white. So just answer simple. Okay, black has this magnificent wall. White has spent so much time on the second line, capturing one little stone, and still, Sente. We can't give black this corner for free. So white continues. Look at the time white is spending to remove all this Sente. Finally, all done. Took forever. Who would have the courage to give black this wall while taking just a few points on the right? Now, if we were to count, turns out white's ahead by like 3 points. That's hard to grasp. And someone asked a minute ago, how do you judge big stuff? Big influence. Here's a good example. Okay, so first, hopefully everyone can see why I think this is an excellent example of not allowing someone to take free profit, right? White's done so much on the right to avoid it, even though it's scary.
I just love the comment, and this is why I don't understand Go.
Right, very hard. So I don't know if it would be worth the time. Well, someone talked about counting. So counting and influence. And we have time, so let's talk about it. Okay, counting. Black's A area. It's not black's. White can simply come in if he wants to. That's not black's. What shall we count for black here?
I'll just go ahead and say, feel free to go as long as you want. I'm actually going to be streaming till 5:30, so another 2.5 hours at least, or okay. 3.5 hours at least. So you should be good to go as long as you want.
Okay, we're coming up on an hour. I'm surprised. It feels like 20 minutes. Okay, so I would probably count this much for black, 4 to 6 points. I don't know where to put the next triangles, but a little more than this, 5 or 6 points, which we'll leave there. Next, with the squares, I'm going to put the squares where the black stones would go. So for instance, white, black. black stones go on that third line, right? So I'm going to use squares. Boom, 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 boom. These are the black stones. Okay, so I can force black to play that to defend his territory. So the triangles would be the points. And I won't fill in the top, I'll just fill in the outline so people can see it. And then I'm going to take the squares away, because when we count, we don't count where the black stones are, just the points. But I did that so you can see, why is he putting them there? Well, because white can force that. So we're counting what black has, not what he might get. Okay. Now we're going to count thickness. The 16 line, that's not thick. There's a big hole right there. We can't count those. So the 15 line, 2 points per thickness. Dare we go further? There's a cutting stone right there. That's not thick. White can actually kill those 2 stones. He can chase them and such. That's not thickness. I don't think I want to come any closer than that, because white has some oddgy right there. So this is it on the black points. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 40. Now to count white. First thing we notice, black has more stones on the board than white does. That's unfair. Let's make it even. Okay, even number of stones. Now when we count white's area 1, area 2, and the entirety of area 3, plus 6 points in Comey, white's ahead. So I find that very instructive. How do you count areas? Now, in regards to how does white continue, flatten them out. Aren't we afraid of getting surrounded? No, shoulder hits are really hard to surround, and white's got that oddgy that's going to be really useful. On top of which, whenever we want, we can come down. There's lots of room on the bottom too. Along with the cut, there's all this stuff to do. So it's not a matter of, so black takes his points. We won't go into any detail other than white's developing. And here I consider this black's first mistake. White's not weak there, black's not weak there. Black's just sick and tired of getting pushed around. So he says, I'm going to take some points, darn it. And so white starts his Sente, which is where black should have played. Now, look at the white points for free. 1. Oh, bottom's getting for free. Black's still weak. Black comes out. Look at all these points white's getting for free. That's enormous. And white ends up winning by about Comey. And whoever wants, you're free to download this and take a look at it. Really an excellent example of what I'm talking about.
What's the game? Do you have the KGS archives link?
No.
Okay. Was this a game? Was this a game played on Node.js? I can look it up real quick and give it to everyone in chat.
It was played on KGS. The 2 players, if you're on KGS, you can see them in the game title. 2i, very famous 7-done, versus WPL.
Okay, so it's 2i WPL. I don't see the date. Dates played February 11th, 2011. If one of the moderators can look at the KGS archives and then just send a link in chat, that would be very helpful. It's 2i versus WPL, February 11th, 2011.
And of course, if you're on KGS, you can just download it.
Right.
Okay. That puts us right on an hour. We've seen some excellent examples and principles. Next, I'm thinking, and I think it might work, that we're going to try a style I used to use in teaching called take turns. The idea is we take someone like a 10Q and I play them that everyone can see, and we play until I get a clear advantage, which generally speaking doesn't take very long. Then we go back and look, how did I get that advantage? What did black do to not catch up? Then we go back to black's first mistake, and then instead of a 10Q, we have like a 7 or 6 or 5Q take over, and we do it again. Then we go back to the first mistake after review, then 1Q takes over. So we take turns and get higher and higher, and we get to see these things in action. So Wayne, I see you there. Wayne, can you hear me? Type something into the KGS thing so I know if you can hear me or not. Perhaps he cannot. Oh, there he is. And Wayne, I'm going to have to pick on you because you're the, I see you as 9Q here. Hey, Baba, good to see you. So I'm going to open up a new game and we'll try this take turns method. See you there.
Okay.
GD, custom game. Make it demonstration should be fine. Okay. And how do I do this? If I do it as a teaching game, everyone can come in. But same thing. Okay.
I believe you can do the options set players or tools set players. Was it?
Right. I'm halfway there. Not there. Options, review game, save game. It's not available under demo. It must be available under teaching.
Okay.
So even though it's a hassle, I'm going to go back and open up a teaching game so that I can set players.
Okay.
Colossus, you have something to say?
Do players need to join from KGS if they want to participate in this?
Unless you can see how they can play their move and transfer it over to here.
Right.
Maybe
Okay.
you can
So let me, while he's pulling that up, let me walk everyone through it. On KGS, you have to have a KGS account. You'll go up to rooms at the top. Let me actually switch scenes here. You'll go to the top and click on rooms. Click on room list, and is it under social? Or was it lessons?
Under lessons.
Okay.
LGD.
We're gonna go to lessons and then LGD room, and that's how you get there. So once again, that is on KGS. Go to rooms, room list, lessons, LGD.
And for those of you who don't know, LGD stands for Lance's Go Dojo. Okay. Wayne, would you click on the game so you can start us off? There we go. There's Wayne. Turn that down. And we say okay.
All right. And
okay, Wayne, let's get started. Your move, Wayne. And don't worry about anything, just play and it'll all work out. Same to you. And we'll go real basic here. No fancy stuff whatsoever.
I think we're about to get bamboozled. We have 148 people watching, and I just told them all to join your room.
And everything's fine. We'll just do, let's just do this. Go Wayne! Hey, Redrosity, none of that. I need the encouragement, not him. We all know these moves. Even game so far. Go Shygost.
So I'm wondering if what you're talking about with the preventing Sente moves, I wonder if that was something I was lacking to get to mid dawn. I'm actually really
Maybe.
curious about how it'll affect my play.
And your visual rank on KGS is 1 Dan, but you actually play in the 2 and 3 Dan range, don't you?
I'm all over the place. My AGA rank is 4 Dan. It's like 4.6 or 4.7. On Fox and Taijom, I'm 5 Dan. KGS I don't play very much, but I've been playing with the Dan bots on KGS and having some fun with that. But I think 1 Dan, 2 Dan KGS, 1 Dan, 2 Dan OGS, I think is probably accurate. I think that's also equivalent to a European 2 Dan as well. So I'm
Uh-huh.
around the low Dan range, in my opinion, and I'm wanting to break into that mid Dan range.
Uh-huh.
I was 5 Dan once upon a time on KGS, but then I think everyone got stronger, and I just didn't.
Right.
So now I consider myself a low Dan, and I'm wanting to slowly but surely break into that mid Dan range. And I think maybe you just gave me the secrets that I need to do it.
Travolk, I remember the name, but I don't remember you very much.
Black is a 9Q, and Black's username is Waynek. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but Waynek, 9Q. He's doing very, very well, I think.
So everyone can consider looking at the board, is someone ahead? And if so, by how much? Once y'all consider it, we'll give it 45 seconds. Then I'd like to hear Colossus' idea.
Oh, okay. So I'm not gonna look at chat, and I'm gonna make my own calculations,
Yeah.
and then
And just give it 30, 45 seconds.
okay.
So we're asking, is someone ahead? And if so,
Do you have
by
Comey?
yeah, regular Comey, whatever it's marked as.
Okay.
He tells me to give you next move, next move. Okay. I'm not ready for any of that. Therefore, I don't like that one bit. Okay, out I come. Almost got tricked there. Okay, Colossus, is someone ahead? And if so, by how much?
So I'm actually tripped up on the top black section, but with everything else, I'm assuming at least 21 for black, not including the top, and 36 for white. So I'm trying to calculate how much that top black is worth.
Interesting.
I'm trying to not say a move, but there's a move I want, so I can just count it. But since it's not there yet, I'm having trouble counting it. But I want to say white's ahead if black doesn't do something, and then white will have initiative. But I think it's a probably pretty close, in
Uh-huh.
my opinion. If black seals the top side.
Uh-huh.
That is my judgment.
Mm-hmm. Jeeps just said something in KJS. Hey, Shy, I've been away for a while. Did you get a chance to touch on about the AI?
I think we're going to do Q&A about in a bit, and
Oh,
that's
good,
definitely
good, good,
something
good.
we're going to want to ask is what is your opinion on AI
Right,
and
right,
whatnot.
right. Okay, so what Colossus said is pretty interesting. I would never have counted the points to determine who's ahead at this point.
Oops.
I would have looked at um, things that are in the positions, who's ahead where. Like when someone makes a mistake, then all of a sudden someone gets to push.
Mm.
And since we're talking about it, I'm taking control for a moment. Black's A group, kind of tiny, kind of not out, kind of bad shape. Me pushing at B flattened him, giving me a reaching move, a living shape. I'd say that cost Black a couple points.
Mm-hmm.
Then my entire C structure, those 5 white stones, got to do perfect things. And Black ended up with a wall that wasn't doing what it should. So those two, I would put Black almost a stone ahead, like 3/4 of a stone. It's about 8 points per stone. So, like 6,
How did you arrive
7
at
points.
8 points per stone?
Say that again.
You just said a quarter of a stone or a stone value is 8 points. So
Yeah.
how do you arrive at that?
Any cornerstone,
Mm-hmm.
8 points. Let's any 2 cornerstones, 16 points. Now that's going to be easy to count. White's not near, so we can count these and these, because White's nowhere near. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So about 16 points. Now, as White comes close, that starts diminishing. So it's 8 points per cornerstone. It's 5 points for a side, and center moves. How many points is that? Well, 0.
0.
And yet it has amazing potential. So we can just ignore center, and it's basically 8 points in the corner. So here we have 8 plus 8. Now let's look at this move. 5 plus plus, which brings it back to 8.
Mm-hmm.
So all interesting. Okay, back to the game.
What I'm finding interesting is so the question that you asked was if was someone ahead, if so by how much. So I'm over here trying to count the exact score, but you're not evaluating by score. You're evaluating by wasted move efficiencies, I guess.
Yes.
Or relative move efficiencies.
In the early stage, it's hard to do a lot more than that, right?
So I've always I also keep an eye on move efficiencies, but I've always been able to I guess count the score. So it's interesting to hear that other side.
Yeah.
Because I've always just counted the score.
Right.
But that's an interesting concept.
Right. This new Black move at E is a good example.
Mm-hmm.
If we ask, now I'm going to get rid of all this so we can use A's and B's and remove this. Is the A group weak? No. It can live in the corner, it can live on the side, it can go home further out to the other guys. The A group's fine. Is the B group okay? Yeah, very stable. The 2 B stones, perfectly fine. Is the C group, White's C group, healthy? Hey, it's way out in the open spaces, no one can bother it. So one might wonder, what is this stone doing? It's not defending, it's not attacking. Point-wise, small points, small handful. So now I would say White is a very solid stone ahead, probably a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the game we're talking about here isn't something that a lot of people can see. Oh, isn't that so obvious? No. Black, I see a lot of black points, a lot of white. It looks equal. That's probably what we'd see if we started talking with people. But hopefully with that explanation we see. Okay, what should White do?
Could I ask a clarifying question?
Please.
So I completely agree with you. When I was counting, it was before P10, and I thought White was up by a little bit. With this, I think White's up by a comfortable amount.
Yeah.
But I can say that with my instincts. But whenever I want to teach that, I've always used the counting rather than the stone efficiencies. So, how would you describe proving this stone is big or small, or efficient or not efficient? How would you go about describing and proving it to a student?
Uh, the example I gave here is exactly how I would do it. If no one's weak and nothing to do here, the right is not the biggest area. That's 3 lines wide. That's 9 points maximum. It's nothing. The bottom, very wide. The left, very wide. So this, like I said, it doesn't attack, it doesn't defend, and when it comes to big size, not very big. So that's how I describe.
So you're using a distance between the stone in addition to safety versus not safe to determine if this is the area to be in or not. Is that correct?
Right. Now, let's just put this here, which is a better place for it because this group isn't all it should be. Right. Now, I was just about to what Wayne just said in KGS chat is exactly what I'm about to look at. He's concerned I have 2 weak groups. Now, as a 9Q, he's experienced nothing but problems in these situations. Oh my goodness, what am I supposed to do now? But the truth is, white's the one with 2 weak groups, not black. This is completely irrational for white to come in and try to do attacking when white's group on top has no eyes. Yeah, it's out for the moment. But if white lives, assuming white lives here, black's going to end up with quite a bit of thickness for free. And let's just assume a peep and I'm on the wrong button. Just a second. So let's assume white lives. I'm just going to put a couple quick little stones down. Okay, now white's alive. And now we imagine we're attacking white on top. Black can use his new thickness, and white can't afford it. Black, all the points have come back. Hopefully that made some sense. But we can see that black's afraid of this. If white was going to do it, it would be here, right? Give black those few points. And this is a good example of reducing versus invading. We gave white 2, 4, 6, 8, 10-ish points, but we gained 2, 3, 6, 9. We gained 10 almost, and health, way in white's favor. This is one of my personal weaknesses. I tend to invade rather than reduce. I was playing a professional once, and he had a huge moil, and I came in and I lived in co. I was so proud of myself. And in review, the professional and another super strong player both said, "Why would you do such a thing? It's too small. Reduction is bigger." As a matter of fact, the super strong player, the non-pro, said it would never enter my mind to live in there. And to me, it's like I went in and lived. I'm so happy. Too small.
Okay. Funny enough, I think every amazing move, I think except for one that happened last year, but I think every amazing move that I remember has always been a mistake in a pro's mind.
Right. Okay, so let's assume everyone understands what we've said and that they're seeing that black is a little behind. It may not look like he's a lot behind, and we haven't gone on far enough to see that it's simply not enough. But this is a good place to stop, and let's do a little review. Wayne, thank you very much. Here, black has a number of choices. He can play for the corner at A. He can play for outside with B. C's not a bad choice. His move of playing away to here is extremely common. All good. Hi, Adrian. That's our grandson trying to say hi. He's about a year and a half now. He's just forming some words and walking down steps all by himself. It's very exciting. Okay. Now again, white's playing very basic here. So here, black has two choices. Notice how powerful that is against that lonely white stone. White says, oh, I'm going to defend. And all of a sudden, black has this significant structure. White defends, black defends. I mean, that's pretty basic. It makes sense. Let's go the other way. Big hole. White says, oh, I better fix that. So black's using white's weakness. In the game, black created a weakness and white's able to use it, getting a bigger corner plus the Atari. Now, white has a great outside strength, great life, good points there. White's got some good points. Now, granted, black looks good on top, but when it comes to the exchange, white gained there. Okay, we continue. Black has choices. Hurt, punish the weakness. Get strong, incente. Hurt that single stone would be one option, right? We're hitting that single stone and we're building a position all incente. Or, since black has his own weakness, then black can fix that instead. And then white fixes his. But instead, he played here, which he still has a cut there, right? I can Atari that now. And I almost played this, except it's a Cohen complex and all like that. So he didn't quite fix his weakness, and he didn't hurt any of my weaknesses, which allows me to play a very slow move, but not at a loss. Now, black should immediately fix his weakness, take away white's sente move. If white ignores, gosh, not only is this sente, which could be useful, white's entire group. Let's say white goes out, just for fun. We'll take a look. White has 0 eyes. 0. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a real eye. But in Gote, if black plays first, it's not an eye. So white has 0 eyes. Now, black's not going to play this way. It's too abrupt. But we can see that black's move here is very meaningful. It's reverse sente, and white's going to respond for sure. Now, is black about to get hurt? No. There's no sentes, no presses that are particularly sente. How about white? No. So it's all settled. Black might decide my whole group needs a little more health. White might decide my whole group needs a little help. But that would be up to the judgment of the player at the time. He plays a huge move. That move is really big. I got to tell you, that's a beautiful looking move. But remember, it cost him a whole move. My move, tiny little move, for free. Notice how my little move grows the bottom, gives him a little nothing. That's only 1 eye in there. Later on, I'm going to be hassling this group, all for free. So that's the deal. We have time to talk about this move. It's important. Let's take a look. Okay. Let's say black kicks, white stands up. Black is now behind enemy lines. He's not real thrilled about getting surrounded like this. So he comes out, very naturally, and white extends. Okay, now we're going to do it again. Now white plays, black kicks, white stands, black defends. White can still extend. A real extension, white's forming health, everything's fine. Okay, so far, white's done the right thing. Now we're going to do it again. White. Black doesn't need to defend. He's already defended. Oh, white never got the extension. White is officially a pitifully weak group. White can't play this way. Hurts too much. Black's going to get too much for free. Whatever white does, black's going to get stuff for free because there's 3 black stones there, for goodness sakes. But that's why we come down to here. Now white can play all the way to A, easy life and sizable, or all the way to B. We have Miai now. That's why we play this white move. And it's actually any of the 3 moves, depending on how you want it to go. And just briefly, that's pretty much what we just saw. And then we have this one, and if black plays this way, white's not dissatisfied. Black got a nice corner, but white has a stable group. The trouble with this move is if black wants to, he can take the outside. And it's a powerful outside, and white might not want him to give him that option, which brings us back here. This is the most common. Okay. Well, we've done a lot of talking and a lot of reviewing, and we're at an hour and a half. That's probably a good time to call it quits. We've seen the list. We've seen the list in action.
All right. Do you want to try doing a Q&A then?
Let's do some Q&A and see if anything happens with it.
All right. So I know the first big question I want to ask you while everyone's writing their questions down in Twitch chat. I want to ask what is your opinion of the AI and AlphaGo stuff? And I know someone asked if it affected your teaching. Has it affected your games? What experiences have you experienced since the AI has come about?
Well, first off, it blew our minds when AI came along. My goodness, no one could believe what they were seeing. And that's with the first AI. And then it got better, and then it got better. And we're to the point now where the best players on the planet need at least 2 stones, and it's just outrageous. And regular, normal professionals are now taking 3 and 4 stones from AlphaGo. Unbelievable.
I think it might be Catago, not AlphaGo, but with the specification being AlphaGo's Google's bot, and I think they're not actually playing Google's quote-unquote bot, but pretty much it's the same technology. Yeah, if that makes sense.
Catago is particularly good at handicap. LeelaGo is good at even. Yeah, they all have their own specialities. To me, the only thing that's really different is now 3/3s are open. You just go in the 3/3. Hey, I'm alive, I have points, and I probably have Sente. You know, it's like, great. I mean, so that's one thing that's changing. A couple of the Joseki, and one's important. Let's look at one of them. This is an age-old Joseki. Gosh, talk about it's been played billions of times. Then black takes the corner and white stabilizes. What's wrong with that? Well, there's a problem. Black can play A and live in virtual Sente. Black can play B and in Sente develop the top, and B and C are the same move. One's forceful, one's less forceful. Black can play C and get the right. Black has options all over the place, including ignoring. Let's look at ignoring. It's important. Black plays away. White says, you fool. Bam! Black has 2 options. Easy life. Talk about easy life. My goodness, just alive. Or ignore. White says, you fool. What's the problem? Just run out. You can never hurt this group. Ever. Ever. So ignoring. So we can see why A. So instead, white plays here, a forcing move. Black needs to respond. Black needs to respond. Black needs to respond. Black needs to. So it forces equality and doesn't give black all those wonderful options.
Oh, you're getting me in trouble in chat. I always tell double digit Qs finish their Josekis because Tanukis lead to stuff that they need to learn Josekis before they ignore Josekis.
Yeah.
And so I always tell them finish your Josekis at single digit Q, learn the Tanuki variations, and I tell them never attach a double digit Q, and that actually wasn't my philosophy starting out. I developed it in the last 6 months after reviewing dozens and dozens and dozens of double digit Q players' games, and every single time, like except for like one time, they've played that attachment and someone messed it up every single time. I don't
Yeah.
know why. I don't know what causes it, but every single time that attachment's played, someone messes it up. So I'm just like, just slide and learn the attachment at single digit Q. And so you're saying the slide is bad, and I'm like, I'm kind of getting in trouble in chat. And I'm like,
Yeah.
uh
Yeah. Let's
oh.
ask another question. At what point is your opponent going to use this wonderful slide against you? Maybe 1 Dan, probably more like 3 Dan. If you play this slide inappropriately at 4 Dan level, he's going to get the advantage over you. So usually students are under the 3 Dan, usually under the 1 Dan. So yeah, it's a fine thing to learn. Stabilize your group. What's the problem? Yeah. All true.
I think the Joseki that surprised me the most was the normal 3/3 Joseki, but the Tiger's Mouth is not supposed to be played because the Tiger's Mouth was good for black. And thinking about it in hindsight, it makes perfect sense that Tiger's Mouth's super powerful. So why would we ever make that
Meaningless?
Tiger's Mouth? Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was
Yeah.
like, oh, just don't make the Tiger's Mouth. You can Tanuki, you can extend one more, you can Nobi down. Just why would you give a Tiger's Mouth to and make it even thicker? And I was like, oh, it just blew my mind. It's like we've been playing that as long as I've been playing Go, longer than that. And I'm like, of course, Tiger's Mouth. That's the obvious Joseki. But then AI is like, oh no, that Tiger's Mouth is good for black. It makes it
Right.
thicker.
Area 1 and Area 2 are pretty darn equal, suggesting Joseki. However, we're about to start a game of Go, and the white stones will not be affecting it at all for the rest of the game, while Area 2 is going to be affecting the entire board for the rest of the game. And AlphaGo is so exceptional at using thickness that, yeah, it's just bad. Right.
I think
I
how we think about 3/3s now versus what we did. Like we always said that 3/3s too early was bad, and
too
now
early.
it's like, no, just do it, man. Just do it. It's gonna be great. That just blows my mind. The differences between before AI and after AI.
Right. Some big differences.
Did it affect your teaching style at all? I don't know if you answered that question.
I'm going to have to say no. The list still works perfectly. You have to introduce a few things, but no, it's the same. Yeah, no difference.
I'm going to post in KGS chat, I think, some of the questions. Oh, that didn't post well. Okay, let me see if I can read that a little bit easier.
Yeah, read it to me so I don't have to.
Okay, question 1. How do you approach like groups, the ones you mean to leave weak? Do they count into the questions? So how do like groups count in the questions?
Right. Now, it would take me 20 minutes to set up an appropriate position, so let me do it theoretically. Okay. So, and I'll put this here. Okay. So I'm playing professional 9 Dan, and I'm asking, if they ignore, what do you do? She says, she being Feng Yun, second ever professional 9 Dan woman, hit him again. Well, what do I do if they ignore again? Hit him again. So it's like, no, just keep punishing and punishing. And I'm like, isn't that a little slow? So yeah, just punish the weak groups. Now, how do you punish? That's a big question that takes a long time to learn. There's no easy answers. I would like to mention a story. I was how strong? Let's say 2Q. I don't know. It was a long, long time ago, before any of you were born. And I was getting sick and tired of being pushed around, attacked, pushed. God, I was beginning to hate it. So I decided my next game, I don't care about winning and losing. I'm going to make sure I have no weak groups on the board. That's my only goal. So halfway through the game, I look, I could not believe my eyes. I had 3 weaknesses. So, okay, I fixed weakness 1. He played a big old move. I fixed weakness 2. He played a big old move. I fixed weakness 3. He played his big old move. I could not believe it. I won the game. Because from then on, I could do anything I wanted in any fashion and not worry. And that changed my game forever. Okay, I'm going to play strong from now on. It's so meaningful to have strong groups that you can trust. I played a game this morning with a student. He plays somewhere between 3Q and 5 Dawn. This morning he played 4 Dawn. So good. He played so well, leaving tiny errors in his positions. And I had to work very hard to punish them a little bit. So we get into in-game, and I'm like 10 points ahead because of these 2 little weaknesses. And it's like he played so well, and I had to work so hard. And it was just a good lesson. It's like he played so well, I couldn't say enough about how good he played. And yet, just these couple little weaknesses. Okay, any other questions?
Yeah.
Am I still teaching Go? Yes, I am.
Would you like to shout out your lessons for anyone interested?
Sure. I teach. I've been teaching for over 35 plus years. I've always charged $25 an hour, never raised my rates. Send me an email. You'll see me on KGS there. And say, may I have lessons? And I'll go, you betcha. And we'll go from there.
Yeah,
You used to have a website, no more.
So how do they find you exactly? You said the email. Is that on, so your profile picture? Or are you sorry, in your profile?
There's my email. It's also in my profile.
Okay, I will send that. Is it okay to send that in chat?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you're interested in lessons with Shygost, there's the email. It is, for those who watch this video later, kemper4x@gmail.com. That is KEMPER, Kemper, 4x, FOREX, @gmail.com. If you're interested in lessons.
So about 14 years ago, I had an accident and lost my leg. I was a house painter, fell off a roof. I got out of house painting, and due to not having a leg, and moved into the Forex, as you see in my email there, moved towards Forex. When I did that, the amount of time to learn Forex, the effort was astounding. And so for about 7 years, I just let my Go business drop. And I got down to like 2 students and all like that. So this last year, I've been building it back up, and I'm 3, 4, depending. So I'm back, as it were, full-time teaching, if anyone's interested. Yeah.
Cool. Let's see. There was the questions. When you ask, can I do it in a big way? Question 3. Do you mean just in raw point values, or are there any other considerations?
Yeah, when it comes to big moves, people tend to think of the width as being the biggest pointer to what's big. And granted, width is very nice, but the character of the situation is more important. Can you do incente? Does it help a group? Does it hurt a group? Things of that nature. So big in all that it implies, not just physically points, but yeah, hopefully that answers it to some degree.
Where do you draw the line between reverse sente and slow moves?
Good question. Few players love to play here. That's 1 point, and it's not sente. It is reverse sente. And you're about to take the corner away. Yeah, true. But let's look at it the other way. Let's play our regular move, which is much more far-reaching. And we'll have black play that, and we ignore it. Was his move sente? Well, he got the whole corner, which was worth approximately 2, 4, 6, 8 points. He gained 8 points. How's our group? Well, we're thicker to the center, thicker to the right. He may have done it in sente, but let's look at that. He's really secured us. We're thicker for the center, and we ended up getting more points than he did. And we got to play away. So it's just, that's an example of, yeah, it's reverse sente, but you shouldn't play here. Just too soon. End game.
Someone else asked, do you still play aside from teaching?
I probably haven't played competitively since my leg, so almost 15 years. I tried playing competitively with the leg. I used to play Simul all the time. I used to just love playing Simul. And my first time I played Simul with the leg, I've got a dozen people in front of me, and I'm sweating because of the pain. And I simply could not focus on the board. I actually lost the game, which I never do when I play Simul. And then some drugs for pain and drugs for phantom pains is like now I'm a little loopy. So no, I don't play competitively anymore. I did play my only serious game in the last 5 years. I played white against Seven Dawn and won. So I was very happy, but it took a great deal of effort to put myself in that mindset and to pay attention to every single move. Gosh, is that a lot of work? That is really focusing on every move. Are you joking? That's hard. I did it that one time. I don't want to do it again. Too hard.
Don't tell my chat that. I'm trying to tell them to focus on every move. Like I'm thinking the questions every single move.
Now, my suggestion along those lines is 1 game a week. Play 1 serious game where you attempt to think every single move. I think that's an amazingly difficult thing to do. Do it once a week. Once you've done that, play through the game, review the game by yourself, trying to find the simple, basic things you missed. Oh, I should have defended. Oh, I should have attacked there instead. Basic things. And then, if possible, take that to a stronger player and get them to review it so they can see your thinking. Because you said, oh, this was a mistake, I should have attacked. And they go, no, you misunderstand. Oh, that's an opportunity to learn something basic.
Someone asked on KGS, do you think it's important for a Go player to have a style?
Right.
And so, I guess if you want to answer that, maybe it would also be good to clarify what style means to you.
Right. So, step 1. Sometimes a Go professional will use one particular opening for 3 to 5 years. And that will allow them to learn the opening. They have about 5 years of playing, and they go, okay, I think I understand that. Then they'll change their opening. Not all players do this. Here we have an opening I played for 7 years. I played this for a long time until I realized there's nothing special here. It's just another opening. White can do just fine. And that includes white playing hare instead. That includes the pinch. There's a million ways this can go, and I went every single million way. And finally, after 7 years, okay, I got it. Sick and tired of this opening. I don't ever see it again. So that's one way, and that can be considered a style. I think some players are naturally aggressive. That's fine. When I was 1Q, I would literally sit on the edge of my seat and slap stones down, killing things. It was so much fun. And that was my style, and that was totally valid. It was too aggressive, but as a 1Q, I learned. So yeah, we have our natural style, and then we have thoughtful, I will do this. Then we have, to heck with my style, I am going to choose to defend my groups whether I want to or not. Now that's not style, that's learning something, that's discipline. So hopefully that answered it.
How many games do you think you would need to play to understand the opening at a decent level at your level relative?
I don't know how to answer that. I have a friend who went from double-digit Q to 6 Dan in a year and a half, at which point he moved to Japan to be as an insei. He couldn't make it as a pro, it was too hard. But a year and a half, he studied every day. That's a lot of games. Solid 3 hours a day studying for a year and a half. Maybe that answers the question.
So he played the same opening for a year and a half?
No, he studied Go with a teacher for a year and a half. Okay. You know, he'd videotape the lessons, go back, and takes more time to study the tape than it does to play the game. What about this? What about that? What, you know, learning everything, asking the questions.
I see.
So, yeah. Go ahead.
I don't see any questions, so I'm gonna ask you a question. In your opinion, what do you think players should work on at different levels to improve?
Repeat that.
So, in your opinion, so for example, what do you think double-digit Q players should work on? What do you think single-digit Q players should work on? And I guess what should I, as a low Dan, what do you think? A relative, not we all have our specific things to work on, but in a general sense, what do you think each level should work on?
Yeah. So if we use this as an example, double-digit Q players seem to have no concept of a strong group. Let's ask the question, what does it take to be able to picture one move ahead and realize I have no base? I'm behind enemy line. I'm not strong. Instead of, oh, I'll be able to get out. I'll be able to do this. What does it take? I don't think it takes much to realize, you know, okay, now let's finish my group. How do you finish? Well, there's things like, we all know, you go 2 spaces, not 3 on the 3rd line. Okay, that's a rule. We'll follow that rule. Well, should it be on the 4th line? Well, you're finishing your group. That's fine. It may not be best. And if he says, I'm going to come under and take that away, just go ahead and stop him. I'm not saying these are best moves, but we're seeing a group forming that's healthy. Can double-digit Qs do that? Yeah, especially with, you know, ask a couple questions of a strong player. Is my group healthy? And the strong player will, you know, explain some stuff to you. So finish your groups, get strong groups, go from there. That's now you're 1 Dan, period. And I'm not joking. If you have strong groups, you're probably 1 Dan.
Defense first. Defense first.
Yeah.
I'm always lecturing about defense first. Okay, so as soon as I said that, we had a lot of questions come in. So I've been trying to play with influence around EGF 5Q level. Do you have any recommendations? At the moment, I mainly play quite territorially, but I'd like to get back into influential play.
Yeah. It's not easy.
This might make you laugh. As someone said, the double-digit Q looks at a group and sees it's not dead. The single-digit Q looks at the group and hopes it can't get attacked. The Dan has already defended.
Okay, so Black has influence, and Black's style is to continue this. Let's just say this is the opening. And you're kind of asking, how does one approach influence? The old style before the computer, just to simply extend from your wall, make a big deal. AlphaGo says, no, take the corner, and white dare not come in because you're thick and he can be attacked. I don't even understand the question to answer it appropriately, but this is a start. I mean, it's a tough question.
Maybe maybe what do you think is a simple way to just play an influence game? So maybe like an opening recommendation or something like that, just to get them started, I guess, and trying to start forcing themselves to play for influence.
Yeah. Well, everyone knows the you know, this kind of go. It's fun. Just make sure when he comes in, don't give him room for this easy life. Make it hard for him. Don't make it hard and now he can do whatever he wants. Make it hard and he has just a few options. Now, again, this is a long road, and how do you do these things? But yeah, build your moyo, attack when he comes in. That might be the answer. I don't know.
All right.
Someone asked about my old lectures, and is there anyone accepting donations? Yeah, anyone who wants to send PayPal to my Kemper Forex account, I will bill that up to a lecture. I haven't done my lecture series, and again, it's been a good 8 years.
I was actually working down to this question, but I think this is relative to what you just said. Someone asked, what would it take for you to stream on a regular basis? So basically what I've been doing is I stream like lessons and game reviews online.
Uh,
What would it take for you to do that? And I'm also willing to help if you need to set up anything or get things
uh,
going. I can also tell you about Twitch, Patreon, and how to stream. But what would it take for you if you were interested to start streaming stuff?
well, step one, once I got my Forex business in line, I came back to KGS, and one of the first things I did in my room, put up a sign. Does anyone want uh, beginning group lessons? And I'm talking about for free. No one answered. So I didn't. A year goes by. I post another sign. Anyone interested? No takers whatsoever. If people said I would, then I would have started a weekly. Let's do a beginners group lesson. It would be so much fun. And from there, it may or may not develop into a paid thing. So that's the one idea. Next idea is you guys are talking about Twitch and such.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an old guy. I don't learn these things as quickly as I used to. So to me, that's a headache and a bother. Can't we do that on KGS where I already know? So I don't. What would it take? Well, if let's say, for instance, money starts coming in, and everyone's saying, "Please, please, start your Twitch account. We would love." I go to Colossus and say, "How do I do it? Go slow. Walk me through one step at a time." We would develop that. So there's a couple pictures of how it might happen.
Okay. Is there perhaps a donation goal that they could meet to get you to start live streaming then?
Lectures, I've always charged $50 an hour.
Okay.
Another way of saying that is individuals, 25 an hour. Two people, 30 an hour. Small group, 35 an hour. Whole group, 15 an hour. It's always how it's done. So I haven't even thought about changing my mind on that
Okay.
process.
So if we raise $200 a month,
A
you
month, that would be a lecture a week.
yeah. So $200 a month, and you would live stream once a week.
1 hour a week. That's what that would be.
All right. That's what we have to do. That's what it would take.
Now,
Yep.
a lot of you, this is the first time you've heard of me. Two things about me that I find interesting. If we go back 15 years, I was famous. I'm traveling. I'm signing autographs. Oh my God, Shygost is here. It was so much fun. Nowadays, no one's heard of me.
Well, from me, my perspective, I've talked about you. You're cited on my classy approach, but you kind of like draw. I kind of guess I left KGS, and now I teach on OGS because I think that's where my money comes in is new
Uh-huh.
people on OGS. So I kind of just lost track of you, and then I didn't know where you disappeared to. I guess. Um, So yeah, I think maybe I should just market you, make market you more and get because I think I started asking around on Facebook. A lot of people knew who you were, but a lot of people also didn't know that you were back on KGS. So I
Yeah.
think it's just a lot of
That's
people
well.
just don't know.
Yeah.
But now we have several hundred people that know again. So that's the thing.
But we still have.
I'll actually throw this out there because I know that a lot of people may not know how to donate to you. If you guys want to donate to Shygost, I'm happy to be a go between. Just make sure you mark the donations as go to Shygost, and I will just redirect it to his PayPal. And I'll try to cover the transaction fees. I think that's fine. I'll try to cover the transaction fees, but if you donate and just mark it to go to Shygost as the fund or whatever, I'm happy to redirect that. Just mark it, and I'll talk to you, and I'll write down your PayPal as well and make sure that I get that set up. So that way, if they wanted to and they don't know how, for anyone watching, contact me. I'm happy to help get you in touch where you can donate directly, or I'm happy to do it for you. But if anyone does want to do that, I know a lot of people I think would be interested in your lectures, and I want to help
Great.
support you
Well,
getting
that's
those
great.
lectures again.
Now, I do want to share one other thing about me
Mm-hmm.
that I think is really cool that a lot of people don't know. When I started teaching 35 years ago plus, back then, like I said, things are different. 1 Dan professionals were different from 9 Dan professionals. You only teach if you're 6 Dan professional on up. At least that's where any sort of reasonable money starts whatsoever. The idea of an amateur teaching Go back then was the epitome of arrogance. It had never been done. I was the first ever non-professional professional Go teacher. Nowadays, everyone does it. 1Qs do it, 5Qs do it. It's done all over the place. I was the first ever. I find that very exciting.
Well, I'm glad you did because this is my living now. So I'm glad it's not frowned upon anymore.
Okay, everybody. That was a lot of fun. Thanks everyone for coming. Hopefully it was meaningful, made sense, useful, all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on. If you ever want to come on again, just let me know. If you ever have like a lecture or something. And yeah, if you have any announcements for any lectures that you have, or what is a way that people could donate to you? I'll go ahead and throw that in the chat as well.
You mentioned that they could do it through you, and I'll let you worry about what that means and how to do it. For
Okay.
me, it's always been just my PayPal account at my email. Kemper
Okay. So
Payne.
the Kemper4x at Gmail.
Yeah.
All right. One more time, I'll post that in chat. So there is that. And if anyone wants to donate, just click the donate button down below and just mark it as for Shygost, and I'll send that to him as well. Yeah, but thanks so much for stopping by.
You bet. It was a lot of fun. And we will catch you all later. Bye,
All right.
everybody.
Adios. I'm still streaming, so I will be right back as soon as I finish up with Shy.
All right. Bye, Sean.